Hello, I'm Sam from Better Letters and Ghost Signs, and we're here in London, behind the Oxo Tower, in the Barge House, just behind the River Thames. We're here for Letterheads 2018 London Calling, which is an international gathering of sign writers, calligraphers, lettering artists, and all sorts of other creative folk who have flown in to spend 4 days together, learning, teaching, and hanging out with each other and sharing stories from the trade. We're really happy that people have made the effort to come here from 30 different countries and 5 continents. The only place we don't have any representatives from is Africa, but we'll get them next time. So across the building we've got 5 levels, a massive entranceway with a shop, installation, peep show installation. Then up the stairs we go into the grand exhibition of the Prix Vinylite Society, our free public exhibition. And next door to that is a screening room. We're showing a whole load of short films about sign painters and different people, artisans from around the world. And then in the floors above that are a whole host of activities. People are blown away by how much stuff there is to do. We've got a novice area, which is where a whole team of very experienced individuals are coaching and mentoring some of the younger new folk to the trade. Next door to that is a gilding room where everybody's laying gold leaf. And across the way, what's really at the heart of the meet is the panel jam, which is a freestyle area where people can just paint what they want and talk and demonstrate in a spontaneous manner. Let's go upstairs again. We get into the bar and the cafe where there's ad hoc demonstrations taking place, banner project, and to be honest, I don't know what's going on there right now. This is the wonderful thing about a Letterheads, is that they're just spontaneous. Things start happening and people get creative, and it happens in an organic and always friendly and fun way. There's a bit more panel jamming going on there, and then we've also got pinstriping, which is a decorative art, origins in the 40s and 50s in the US. And then right to the top, we've got a whole series of talks, workshops and presentations from loads of people with vast experience, talking about everything from Ivan Castro's Spanish lettering of the 60s and 70s. We've got Dalton Marg, a type agency, who are creating a type drawing workshop up there. We'll have Noel Webber, one of the original Letterheads, giving his perspective after God knows how many years in the business. He's going to be telling people what he knows about lettering and design. Then we've got a whole calligraphy area that Alice Mazzilli has set up, and here people can try out different tools, materials that can be used for different styles of calligraphic lettering. I'd like just to thank everyone who has contributed in whatever way, our sponsors, One Shot, W&B Gold Leaf, all of our supporters, all of the team who have helped to organise it, and my partners in the project, AS Handover, the best sign supply shop in the world.
My name is Mark Otis. This is my first time to the UK. Won't be my last. And I am here because I love Letterheads, and I'm also one of the founders of the Letterheads. We began in Denver, Colorado in 1975. It's perfect, and I mean it's sort of an analogy because the Letterheads is grounded in the love of all the traditional craft, but then there's so much contemporary stuff happening, and that's reflected in the makeup of this group. What began as 7 guys in a basement has now grown to thousands worldwide. And what's especially encouraging about this meeting is the fact that there are now people here from 30 countries, and I think the median age has got to be 30. So it's alive and well. By about 2000, when we had a meeting, I think it was for the 25th anniversary of the Letterheads, there were very few young people. All of the old gray-haired folks would attach themselves to those few folks, and now it's completely reversed, and what's especially heartening is it's probably 50-50 female, which was very rare in the old days, and now it looks like it's close to parity that way. I'm seeing all these people with new styles. It seems like there's a brand new design aesthetic at work here. There are people here who come to this from graffiti and from tattooing, so there are all these new traditions that are coming in that are much different than the old bench work, commercial lettering that I started with. So there's a lot of freedom here. And I think the future of the industry is going to be a hybrid. I think first and foremost that the good designers are the ones that will prevail. I believe that they are going to bring something of this handcrafted aesthetic, and I also think that it's going to be shuffled seamlessly with digital. If I were getting into the trade now, I would probably want to be an expert faux painter, pinstriper. I don't think it would be possible to be limited only to sign painting. So, and in fact, I'm meeting a lot of young people here who are also graphic designers, who are also tattooists. So I think that the future is going to be this cross-pollinated, expanded thing. Happy to be here. Sorry to go home, and we'll be back.
Okay, so my name is Meredith Kasabian, and I'm the curator of the exhibition that's happening here with the Letterheads. It's called the Grand Exhibition of the Prix Society in 18th Century Revival, and it's a contemporary interpretation of an 18th century sign painting exhibition that happened like right there in Covent Garden in 1762. I am a writer, curator, and sign painter in that order. I come from an English literature background. My husband is a sign painter, and we run Best Dressed Signs out of Boston in the US together. The original idea for this exhibition started when I was in grad school back in 2012. And I was taking an 18th century class, and you could kind of write on anything you wanted for your term paper at the end of the semester. And we had looked at William Hogarth's engravings and paintings, and I saw Beer Street, which features a sign painter from the 18th century, and I thought, oh, I'll do a paper on sign painting in the 18th century. And as I was researching, I came across the 1762 Society of Sign Painters exhibition, and I just started researching, finding out more about 18th century signs. Originally just wanted to write it and get it published, but maybe about 4 or 5 years ago had the idea to do an exhibition, because we had done exhibitions with the Prix Society in the past. But I knew I wanted to do it in London because it's such an obscure piece of British history that doing it anywhere else wouldn't really make sense. So I've just been kind of waiting for the opportunity, and then when they decided to do the Letterheads in London, Jed suggested, let's do your exhibition at the same time. And then when Sam found this building, he said, we can give you a floor for the exhibition. And so that it's been in the works to have it in this space since about a year ago. Yeah, I wrote a catalog with all of my 6 years worth of research, and it includes photographs of most of the work in the show. It requires a little bit of explaining, but even people that haven't, they come through and they're like, this is great, I love it. And I'm like, do you know what the premise of it is? And they're like, no. And so that's kind of cool, because it's sort of like it's a beautiful show that you can just take in and appreciate, but then if you also know what the premise is, that sort of adds something else to it. But yeah, people seem to be really liking it. It's such a global city anyway, and it's got so much history and there's so many other events that are going on beyond just what's happening inside this building. You know, there was a whole group of us letterheads just standing on the sidewalk with Craig Winslow, who's also the one who did the projection mural in the exhibition, along with Anna Frederick. Yeah, and then they were doing tours, like walking tours of old signs and that neon place. So it's, I've only been to, this is my 4th Letterheads event, but this seems to be the one that has more going on other than just what's happening in the building. So I think it's the perfect place. I'd love to do Letterheads, London Letterheads every year, but I'm kind of an Anglophile, so.
To come back here with all the legendary sign painters, it feels great. It's an honor to be here, and I wish that we will be able to participate in one of the more future Letterheads meet as well. I have Painter Kafil with me as well. Painter Kafil has been a sign painter from Old Delhi, who's been painting for almost around 40-45 years, mainly local shop signs and things like that, but his kind of like world's also changing since the project started, and now he probably gets more international exposure. So for him also it's great to be here, learning from different sign painters, different techniques, and I think meets like this should also happen in other parts of the world pretty often.
Hello, my name is Gustavo Ferrari. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm a sign painter and fileteador. Fileteado is a traditional style of decorative art and sign painting from my country and specifically from my city. It's a tradition that has more than 100 years old, and it started with carts, horse carts, and then trucks, buses, and now it's everywhere in the city in signs, shop windows. And 2 years ago it was declared World Cultural Heritage by UNESCO. In our country this is very popular, it's part of the visual identity of the city, so it's something like porteños, the inhabitants of Buenos Aires, they feel it's their image or the way to show themselves. And I've been coming to different Letterheads meetings in the last 4 years. My first one was here also in England, in Rochester, Kent, in 2014, and I found it an amazing experience because you have all kind of people from all over the world doing a lot of different styles and kind of works. So one of the things I really love about the Letterheads and what blew up my head in my first time is this thing about having a lot of different people with different life experiences and different careers, like super recognized masters of the craft, people that are just beginning, people in the middle, and they are all willing to share their knowledge, especially the old timers, like people with 50 years of career on their back. They are completely open to share their knowledge, and at the same time they're super curious about what's going on, what are the new generations doing. So that feeling that I have in these meetings, it's amazing because it makes you want to improve, to keep researching, to keep studying and to keep growing. And it's like every time I go out from these meetings and come back to Buenos Aires, I have like a new energy to try to do different stuff and to try to keep the best level of work and get it better and better and better all the time.
I think the most noticeable thing for me is the amount of young people who are so keen to get into the profession, the amount of girls as well, where it was seen as such a male-dominated profession. and these people are really outstanding. Their work, their creative ideas, whether that's from doing many years with computerized work and digital work and things like that, but they certainly want to turn to paint with that now, and it's fantastic. We're all learning from each other. I think the importance is that showing that this is a serious profession. We're not just a novelty art. You know, we've been around for many years, and despite all the modern technology, we're as strong as ever, and it's almost like signwriting now has become the new modern way. We can see that when modern, big, huge businesses, even corporate companies, be it restaurants or department stores, they want to use us before the little backstreet shop. Yeah, I've seen many changes. When I started off, the computerized lettering was just starting, and that was becoming fashionable. Businesses want to try it out because the salespeople told them that's what they needed. That was the new thing, and it went through a difficult time. But now people are really decided, you know, they want to go back to the traditional things. So I've seen many changes, but I've stuck with it all the time because, you know, when you get something and you really believe in it, you just have to keep pushing it, and you know, and I'm so glad I did. You can't tell what the future holds, but you've got to do your best for the moment. You know, people tend to look up to people who've been doing it for a long time, and they can learn from them, and you know, things can be lost. And the whole idea of the letterhead movement is that you know, we're much richer for sharing things than hiding them away, and so it's incredibly important that we share. And as I say, we share with them, and we're learning off them, and us as teachers learn just as much in a way all the time when we're doing this. I've been to tiny little meets where there've been nothing more than just a little bit of camping around campfires, and I've also been to big international ones where there's hundreds of people and it's difficult to speak to them all. But I think memories are just, I mean, they all create different memories. You come from there with different experiences, it changes the way you work and everything like that, and the people who you meet. It's just all wonderful. I think the beauty is you just never know what's there, but the passion's always going to be there.
Letterheads, what can I say? Changed my life. My first letterhead meet 30 years ago in Texas in the US. I thought I was out alone in an ocean, and all of a sudden here's all these other people that are involved in the passion that I want. And there it was, Letterheads. I was so intimidated, but I use it like they told me to use it. If you're invigorated, you're fired up, then turn around to someone else and help them. So at first I didn't know what they meant, and some guy who was up doing a speech to everybody said, "You don't know who's out here in this crowd, but one of you will be the next one that teaches." We all laughed. Here I am 30 years later, and I'm doing that, so I tell other people, hey, you might be the next one, because this is what keeps the craft going. It isn't about anybody's ego or my ego or any of that. It's come on and have some fun. And the last few years I've been teaching signs, but I still have my shop open in the States. Always will. But it's really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it's sign painting is on the renaissance. Here we are, London, England, 2018. It's just looking better and better, and I see it firsthand by being a teacher of hand lettering, where it used to be people in their own camps. Here's the graffiti people, the tattoo people, and now we're all in one. It's amazing how it's come together, and we all share everything, and boy, coming together like that, wow. Where's it going to be this time? Well, it'll be this one. Well, same guys will come to help out, to keep the core going, but then the best thing about it is the lifeblood that comes into it. Newbies, come on in, here you go. I've been teaching the novice class. I get it almost more excited than them to see in their eyes what they are capable of doing, what they didn't think they're capable, and all of a sudden they're doing it within a day or 2 days. And to see what they're going to go back to. They're like, wow, oh, I want to go back and do this now and that. I was that same way. And if you keep that spirit going, then you know the letterhead spirit is alive and well. And the other thing is, with doing this worldwide, you find out other techniques and other paints, other styles, take them back home, and it really becomes a great network. It's a small world. The general public, it goes in cycles as well. They don't want to see a lot of the digital stuff that's the same. It's too perfect. It's like a magazine ad. You just turn it, oh, there's nothing there. You see something handcrafted, hand done. Wow, look at that. There is a few flaws here and there. We're all human. That's come back. And I don't think it ever's going to leave, ever. In the States, sign painting never went away. Some of the countries that I teach in, sign painting was dead. They just couldn't find the old timers that did it. And now the young people are like, hey, we've got the history here. We need to find out how to do this. Compared to what it used to be, I mean, there isn't much out there. So Letterheads is a vital organ in keeping that alive. And maybe that's the way it'll be for a while. Maybe schools will come back. I'm not sure. But at least it's a cheap alternative compared to going to a school. I don't know if they're that spendy or not. It doesn't matter. But what it can do for your freedom of what you want to do. This really, you come in and you see this, and we have the public come in to see what we do. Like, wow, how can I get into this? But you got to be ready. It's a long road. But why not? You don't want to just go right to the end. It's about the journey, not the destination. But on that way, the people and the stuff that you meet and people you meet, man, you can't put a price on it. You really can't.
My name is Noel Weber. I'm a sign painter, and I've been in the trade since 1971. Went to school in Chicago and learned to trade after school as an apprentice painting billboards. I became a member of the Letterheads in the mid-70s, and that's when my career took off. It's when I really found the art in our craft. And I can tell you that it's only enhanced my life. I've met some of the most wonderful people through this group. And even this weekend, I can see that people that I've met just this weekend will be friends for life. It's such a beautiful experience that all of us are sharing with this art form. You know, it's hard to describe the feeling I have when I see these young people participating in something that I've loved all my life. So I'm grateful to see it. I'm really grateful to be here, and grateful for Sam to put this together. The growth has been, I think everybody loves the fact that they can create something with their hands. You know, something that they can start with an idea, start with a pencil, start with a drawing, and then actually create something that is a finished product. And it's extremely satisfying to be able to do that, to be able to think about something and then actually create it. I think it's an excellent location. You know, you have to work under all kinds of different circumstances, and you could see how flexible all these artists are. You know, they're crammed into small rooms with low light, but they're still working and still painting and still creating beautiful things. It's no matter. It's about what they're doing and the passion that they have for it. Yeah, it's unbelievable, the people that I've met and the new introductions to people that I never would have had an opportunity to meet. And I think that's one of the beauties of this group, is it brings us together internationally. There's no language barrier here. It's all about letters. I think being at one of these events, the camaraderie that we have, you know, the term leaving your ego at the door and walking in, and working with other artists that are going to help you develop to be a better artist, and shoulder to shoulder with people working at an easel, that, you know, there's no ego there. It's like, you're doing this, I'm doing that, but we're on the same plane. And, you know, and everybody wants to get better, and we're all going to reach a point where we're happy with what we do and how we do it, and this makes us equal. This makes us one.
I'm Malcolm Garrett. I'm here at the Barge House for the Letterheads meet. My studio's just around the corner, and how could I not be here? I've been inspired by sign writers and what sign writers are able to do. Just the craft of lettering has always blown me away from very early age. And so coming to this and seeing so many contemporary sign writers still working away, I just think it's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. I'm always impressed by and always look closely at the works that are on glass, and so they're built up back to front, but they're also three-dimensional, and they've got the gilding and the mirroring and depth within them. I'm always amazingly impressed at just the ability to think about how to realize that quality of lettering back to front. Yeah. It's incredible.
My name is Eduardo. I'm one of the volunteers for London Letterheads, London Calling. My first time in London, having a lot of fun, having the opportunity to see old friends and new ones. Currently I'm based in Portugal, originally from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where the sign painting scene is currently heating up, and hopefully I would love to see one of these events happen in my country or even in Portugal. Right now in Brazil there's a couple of people pushing sign painting, which is amazing. We still need some of the old timers to come over and teach us new stuff, which is this event are made for stuff like this. And in Portugal also there's a lot of history there, but the tradition has kind of been lost, and hopefully we're gonna see a comeback now.
Gold leaf and gilding in all of its mediums is really taking off again, and the sign makers are a group that we cater to especially, but we also cater to architectural and frame makers, and you name it. If it's used, we do it. But this group is got a huge resurgence. Young people interested. And Sam Roberts asked me if we were interested in coming out and sponsoring the gilding part, and I said, yeah, for sure. It's a no-brainer. And the demographics, I think half, at least he was telling me, half are Americans. So that's people that are right in front of us, and we have a growing awareness throughout the world of our product. So it's good. It's good all the way around. One of the things I love about Europe, all of Europe, is gilding. Is it being my thing. It's everywhere. It's so much more than in the States, and I'd love to see the States get back to that. It was like that in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then it's kind of gone away. We've got it here, and so with London, we took the tour bus for the event where we're looking at sign font or sign type letter, and I'm seeing all this gilding, and so that is an incredible thing about London. In the pubs, beautiful, ornate, over the top. That's probably one of the most impressive gilded objects, and that's what I'm into. I'm kind of partial to that. So I think that's been a great thing. Otherwise, aside from the business or the work side of things, it's a great time to be here. Weather's been awesome. People are excellent. So all good, I'd say, about London. Sure, that's one of the reasons we sponsor it. Certainly, it's to help promote our product and our brand, but also it's to grow it. And like our very first on, I think it was Thursday evening, and then again on Friday morning, the first early workshops, I think everybody in the class was younger than me, and most by 20 years probably, which was awesome. I love that. It's, you know, maybe only 10% are going to take this to the next level or are going to pick it up, but that's awesome. That's new young people that are going to keep this craft going, and that's a huge thing about the Gilding Zone for us. And I think it was a great idea. I know Sam came up with that, but I love that there's an aspect dedicated to that, and it has a huge draw. Now here we're at the last official workshop coming up, and all the tables, I think there's 20 spots, they're all taken, and then you've got this mass crowd in the middle that are all talking about it and want to be in. So I could see there's a good draw. It's a smart thing, and yeah, that's just to grow what we do, you know. And then hopefully a few, you know, you've got maybe 10% that'll take it, and maybe another 10% of them will become customers, and but it's not always all about that. You know, I'm happy to have everybody learn gilding or improve on their gilding skills already.
I would like to think that handovers, by supporting an event like this and putting quite a lot of time and effort into it, are giving back something to the people that have been loyal customers and supported handovers over the 38 years that I've been with the company, and obviously before that as well. I would say that the biggest contribution is the many man hours or woman hours that we put into it in the organisation of the event. Well, it was a bit of a shock for me. I was tidying it up after the Letterheads event in Oslo last year, and there was sort of a few speeches going on, and they said, make sure you don't miss the event, the Letterheads in London next year, which is being organised by Better Letters and AS Handover Limited, and that was the first I actually knew of the fact that we were doing the event. But having said that, I'm very pleased that my colleague got us on board and volunteered us to contribute.
My name is Oscar Nomen. I am from Barcelona, and I've been sign painting, specialized in fileteado porteño, for about 8 years. London is a really intense city. You can feel the culture everywhere. Barcelona is more relaxed. We like the beach, we like a little beer and tapas. And here I've been amazed with the architecture, scrolls and ornaments, and I'm really enjoying it. Specifically this year, because I was less shy than last year. I think everybody gets a little shy and nervous on their first year. This year I've been practicing casual letters. I've been asking more specific questions to people I really respect and I really like their jobs. Shyness is gone away, so now, here in my second one I feel more free to do things, and I'm obviously learning a lot more.